What's going on, everybody? This is Over the Ropes. I'm Tyler.
I'm Corwin.
And we got your Smackdown review. February 21st in New Orleans, Louisiana. Interesting show. Interesting show.
It was.
Here's the thing. You know, if you're watching this, chances are you watched it. Or you at least follow along. So you know The Rock was there. And I feel like, for me personally, if that Rock segment wasn't on the show, it wouldn't have been that great of a show. But
Do you think that's because they had to rewrite the show last minute? Do you think this was known, or do you think this was last minute?
I think this was last minute.
I think that's why the show sucked.
I don't, though, because from what I've seen online, all they did was change the main event from a triple threat to a tag, and then shorten the Liv Naomi match.
Yep.
So, I don't know if that was made into a triple threat and that was made into an actual match rather than a segment. Would I have enjoyed the show anymore? Probably not.
I assumed it was one of the Vince days where they just tore up scripts and they were doing it all on the fly.
Maybe.
If that's the case, then this was kind of a bummer of a show. But either way, it's got its points. We'll get to them.
Yeah. What did you think of the show overall?
It was one of those ones I was tough to review just because I was so fried. This is a long work week for me, but This is my last day as soon as we finish this show.
Nice.
Honestly, everything with R-Truth I thought was freaking hilarious, and we'll get to that.
He's so funny.
There was parts I didn't love. I think everything with Tiffany I was really looking forward to, and I don't know how I ended up feeling about it.
Okay.
The Rock and Cody stuff is a little weird, and I don't know if I understand it yet.
Okay.
Parts of it were great, parts of it I could have lived without, but...
All right, well, let's get into it. So the show starts off with the normal, walking in, which normally wouldn't be anything to talk about, but as Cody's walking in, Aldis stops him and he says, hey, you're out of the six-man tag match. Cody's like, what? What are you talking about? What's going on? And Aldis is being weird about it, and Cody
says it's out of his hands.
Yeah, he's like, dude, it's out of my hands. I don't know what to tell you. So Cody's like, all right, who do I call? And Aldis is like, there's nobody call. What do you say? If you smell what I'm cooking.
Yep.
And then he said it was The Rock's choice, and then tells Cody that The Rock wants to see him in the ring later. Now, I will say one thing. Of all the crap that everyone gives Rock, including me, at least he didn't make himself the main event. This is right dab in the middle of the show.
I did notice that. I was very intrigued to see what the timing would be, and I think they did a good job of plugging this throughout the show. So obviously you've seen it online. Yep. It starts the show off, and I think they had the graphic up probably 3 or 4 times before it happened.
Right.
But I was very intrigued to see this. This went on at was it 1:40 into the show? So, for us, 9:40 Eastern. Yep. But yeah, a little over halfway before the show. But they didn't get that flat hour. I know a lot of times they try to do 8, 9, 10, some of these major faces on your screen for when people are changing channels. But I think it probably ran through the 10 o'clock hour, though, right?
Yeah. So then we get our first match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso.
It was early. They got right to the action, which they don't normally do. And this was another reason I was like, did the show get rewritten? Just because they got right into a match, which I liked.
Yeah, I like it, especially since they don't do it all the time.
Right.
So Drew comes out, Jimmy comes out. Is this part of Jimmy's entrance every week now? Just doing the promo coming out?
Back, yeah.
Yeah, him.
And I'm cool with it. If you've got it, do it. It seems like they're doing it with a lot of the Samoan guys.
I was going to say, him, Jacob, and Solo, kind of.
And you get Jason in the crowd, so.
Yeah. Interesting. So the match is pretty good. I don't think either one of them are going to put on many bad matches. Dude, that Alabama slam onto the stairs. Oh.
I thought for sure it was getting reversed. I was like, there's no way he's going to...
Yeah. I was like, no shot. And then...
Yep.
Oh, man, what a match. It was good. It was pretty back and forth. Went through a commercial. Drew goes to hit a second Alabama slam in the ring. Jimmy rolls it up for a pin and gets the win. Dude, this dude, he's like the new Baron Corbin. His biggest weakness is a roll-up. This dude's getting rolled up weekly now.
And these aren't normal Alabama slams. They were reversed, so people weren't landing back first, neck first, like KO. These were reversed. So Jimmy ate those steps.
Face first, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, he rolls him up, and but then Drew just beats him down immediately after the match.
Yep.
And so we get all the refs and producers who come out, and try to break the things up. And as Drew gets to the top of the ramp, he kind of spins out of it. He runs into the ring and just drops Jimmy with a claymore.
Yeah,
so kind of one of those you went over, I got over situations.
Right. And I like how they've been doing this, like raising the mic up around the ring. So you hear Drew screaming at Jimmy how Jimmy means nothing to him, and this match means nothing to him right before he tried to like kick his head into the turnbuckle. It was great. Good match. I mean, Drew's always has good matches. Jimmy's pretty good in the ring, so it was a solid match overall. Then we got Solo showing up in the arena, walks into Tamatonga and Jacob. And he tells Jacob, hey, last week was an accident, I mean nothing. Jacob tells Solo that he knows that, and that's the only reason he's still standing.
It's all good,
Yeah, it's all good. That's why you're still here. Solo tells Jacob that he's going to be in their corner tonight, and Jacob says, nah. He says, Tama and I have been running things the whole time you're gone. He said, tonight you and I are going to run some things. Solo says, man, that's why I love you.
And now you've got Solo chasing the hug. It isn't Jacob saying, I love you, Solo.
Right.
Solo trying to kiss Jacob's ass. And this transition has been interesting.
It's been fun, and it's also like the disgusted look on Jacob's face.
Yeah.
Like when Solo walks off,
Yeah.
The whole point of the Tungans and Jacob was they were so brutal and so, nasty that the rest of the bloodline was like, nah, get these guys out of here. And now Solo's, showing weakness, and Jacob just looks so disgusted by him. It's so good. Yeah. This might be one of the most interesting things they have on SmackDown right now.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where Solo and Jacob go. And I like how in the middle Solo was like, good, I'm glad we're on the same page then.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you hit
There's just a little bit of tension between them, and it runs throughout the show a little bit.
Show. I'll let you hit this next part because I know this was your favorite.
Yeah. So I know we talked about not doing packages as much, but the Elimination Chamber packages that they ran for both matches were fantastic.
Yeah, they were.
The production value here is great. I loved these.
Yeah.
After this, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like how they kind of highlighted each person. So
yes, this was a very, very good package. We talked about the importance of the match, and then it did highlight everyone who's in it.
Yeah.
And I still don't know who's going to win either of these. This is so wide open.
Yeah, especially that women's one.
The women's one, I have no clue.
Right.
So we get a backstage segment that leads into a match. We get R-Truth, who runs into Carmelo Hayes. And R-Truth's like, hey, we got a match for the first time ever tonight.
Yeah.
And Melo's like, nah, man, we fought last week. And Truth's like, I've never met you in my life. And R-Truth says that they have a tag team match tonight. And Melo's like, well, who made the match? And Truth is like, him. And Melo's like, man, we're not going through this again. I am him. And Truth is like, no, him. And he kind of looks behind Melo. And The Miz walks up. Mm-hmm. And this kind of goes back to last week where Miz tries to make that tag team name for him and Melo, the Melo Don't Miz.
Yeah.
R-Truth, they ask who R-Truth's partner is, and he's like, well, he's a Louisiana native. Yeah. And I'm racking my brain. I'm like, who is from Louisiana? And I couldn't think of anyone.
I was doing the same thing. I was like, I know they're not bringing Ricky Starks up already.
Exactly. Yeah. All I had was Ricky Starks. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, maybe, and it would be awesome, but it just, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't I didn't think it was going to happen.
Right.
And then Miz keeps pushing this Melo don't miss thing, and he's trying to get Melo to say it. And R-Truth. So he says, Melo don't miss, and we are. And he's just like waiting for Melo to finish the sentence. And Truth runs back in and says,
out of nowhere.
Say awesome.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
It was a great segment. It was hilarious. I was laughing the whole segment. Truth is a highlight. Honestly, tomorrow we're filming this on Saturday. Tomorrow we're gonna put out a WrestleMania prediction show. So it'll be our first show with that's not a show reaction. And truly, if I didn't know any rumors going into WrestleMania, I think I would have Damian Priest and Truth winning the tag titles.
I could get down with that.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, because Truth's just and Damian can't hold a straight face anytime he's around Truth. Not even. No, hell no. So we get the entrances. We come back from commercial, and speaking of promos and video packages, that Zelina video package. Holy shit! Holy shit! I mean, listen. Even the biggest WWE haters, which there are plenty of, same with AEW, they cannot even try to act like WWE don't make great promos for people.
Yep.
Yeah, this thing was sweet.
Really good package. And
futuristic. She's sitting on a motorcycle. Oh man, it was so good.
She's like, my dreams are a lot bigger than a measuring stick, and I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this gets us into Melo and Miz versus R-Truth and his surprise tag team partner.
Legend.
Local legend.
That's
Louisiana Knight.
Louisiana Knight.
The only thing that could ever calm down an LA Knight, reaction. I think people were just confused. They were like, what? And it doesn't stop there. R-Truth hands him beads, and then he hands him a po' boy sandwich, and I am laughing out of control at this point.
Did you see him take a bite out of it?
Yes. Yeah, he had a couple bites, I think, and then tosses it into the crowd. Yeah. Just when you think R-Truth can't get any more ridiculous.
Oh, dude.
Early in this match, he hits a hip toss on Carmelo Hayes. Mm-hmm. And immediately just starts counting. Did Little Jimmy make the pin? I don't know, dude, but R-Truth just starts counting.
I know.
And Melo sits up what the fuck?
Even Miz is what are you doing, dude?
I absolutely lost it. And then later in the match, R-Truth goes to tag Miz in because they used partners.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Truth was all over the place in this match.
R-Truth was the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
My goodness.
For sure.
After the match, Miz had a little rough spot in the middle. LA Knight went for a power slam. Mm-hmm. That was a little ugly, but everything else was all right in this match.
Yeah.
We got a nice little blitz at the end. Melo went for the first 48. LA Knight caught him, went for the BFT. Melo kind of shrugged out of it. He pushes LA Knight into his corner. Truth makes the tag. He hits the John Cena power-up with the shoulder block, backdrop, the five-knuckle shuffle. But Melo reverses the AA, and he does his old spinning attack. I can't remember what it's called. And then he goes into the STF, just pulling out all the Cena greats.
Yep.
LA Knight takes Miz out of the ring, throws him to the barricade, and then Shinsuke from out of nowhere. Just catches LA Knight with kind of an enziguri kick over the barricade.
Yep.
Then jumps over and hits him with a knee attack right into the post. And then I actually really, really like this finisher. The Miz hit his skull-crushing finale into the first 48 from Miz, and they got the win.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's a nice move.
Yeah, I like that.
I like when people pull out new tag team moves that I've never seen together before. And Melo has racked up 3 wins in a row here now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was a little conflicted at the end because it's all right, Melo got 3 wins, hell yeah, that's what you want to see. But Melo looked a little too happy with him and Miz's win, and I'm like, do not put him in a tag team with the Miz, you know what I'm saying? Don't do
where
it.
I expected him to go.
Right? No. If you're gonna use Miz as a conduit to get him more wins and on a little a roll just for Mello to be like, yeah, okay, screw you, Miz. Like after it gets like 3 wins, then cool. But I don't want them as a tag team.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little short-lived. But
Yeah,
I mean, this was a hilarious, series. The backstage and the match I thought were very entertaining.
It was great.
Arguably my favorite part of the night for sure.
It was one of them, one of the best parts, that's for sure. So then Tiffany comes out, gets the mic, says ever since she's won the title, everyone's been obsessed with her. She says that she would have beat Nia last week if Candice didn't run out there to help her meal ticket. That's like the 4th time she's said that line. She's constantly like, Candice, she's your meal ticket. You know that. You don't like her. And then she talks about how in the chamber, her and Trish are going to beat them. We didn't talk about last week's show, but what do you think about Trish coming in to team with Tiffany?
I love it. I think it's a good way to get people to cheer for Tiffany and kind of ensure she's going to be a full-time babyface going to this match. I mean, you can't boo Trish in Canada, and I think that, not only pitting Tiffany against someone that most everyone hates in Nia, but you're giving her Trish. I also think that it's just a great role model's not the word I'm looking for, mentorship situation.
Yep.
But I can also see this being a SummerSlam match. I can see it fizzling out.
Right.
And I think this is going to be a rivalry in a little bit. But for now, I love it. I wasn't expecting Trish to be on this card at all, but I am stoked and happy to hear that she is.
Yeah, I think it was a smart way because I think it was pretty obvious that they weren't sure who was going to be the bad guy between Tiffany and Charlotte. And now they were like, okay, well, we have to make sure Tiffany is to some degree a face going into this match. So let's put her with Trish. People are going to freak out. And, that's kind of a quick way to get us to where we need to going into Mania. Tiffany says she
wants to put this promo ahead very much as a babyface.
100%, which really was her first one, too.
I would agree. It's definitely different.
Yeah, so Tiffany says she wants to talk about Charlotte. She says she picked her at Mania. She says, as I was laying there looking up at you, I realized the truth that no one likes to kick a girl down like Charlotte. Which I was like, ooh, facts.
Yep.
She says, so at Mania, she isn't coming for her legacy. She's coming after the spot that she loves so much, the top girl spot in the company. Nia and Candice come out. Nia says it's cute that Tiffany thinks she would have beat her last week. Candice says it's cute that the only reason she's there is because of Trish. Nia says she doesn't know why. She's talking about Charlotte when she isn't even going to make it to Mania. Tiffany says she after she beats Candice, Nia isn't going to have anyone else to do her dirty work for her. Candice and Nia jump in the ring like they're going to jump her, and some reason they let one single referee stop them from doing that.
You might be cutting out a little bit.
Oh, shit, my bad. I said they got in the ring to jump Tiffany, and for some reason let one single referee stop them from doing that.
It wasn't as bad as the Thunder Rosa's spot on AEW, but it was oh, please, let this one ref stop you.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. That spot.
I just don't threaten to beat her down, and that drove me nuts, and I think that's mostly what left a bad taste in my mouth about all this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I feel like I was always begging to see more Candice because I know she's a great wrestler, but all the people to put her with, Nia Jax just sucks the life out of me, and I don't know.
They should have kept Indy. I get it. I'm not like a lot of other people that freak out about the releases. They have so many people on the roster. I think their thought is I'd rather release them and let them work rather than have them sitting and catering. You know what I'm saying? But I thought Candice and Indy would have been great as a team to beat Nia's punching bags. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the match was pretty good. It was kind of sloppy, especially towards the end. But Charlotte comes out when we come back from commercial. The match is pretty good. Tiffany does a backflip that she completely misses them.
Yeah, she was pretty.
Way.
You saw what she took off.
Yeah. Nia tries to catch her to kind of like save it, but it wasn't great. Tiffany does an Alabama slam into a barricade, and I said, "Holy shit! Why is everybody doing this move all of a sudden?" Like,
gotta be tagging for the matches.
It's like 3 or 4 just tonight, right in front of Charlotte. Tiffany ends up rolling Candice into the ring and hits the prettiest moonsault for the win. After the match, Nia attacks Tiffany. Trish comes out, attacks Nia and Candice. Nia and Candice end up getting the upper hand. Candice hit Trish with that chop block. Nia stacks Tiffany and Trish and hits the double annihilator. And then Charlotte gets in the ring, stands over Tiffany, points at the Mania sign. Here's my one thing, though. This tag match is good. I get why they're doing it. But Trish hasn't been a damn help. Last 2 weeks they've been left laying.
It happens every once in a while, but I don't understand why. If you're there, why are you waiting until like then to run out? Like,
right?
If she got Candice at ringside, I don't know. Like, I understand why. For like the reaction that she would come out to make the save, but like just I don't know. I'm looking too deep into it. I'm like, oh, if you're already there, why aren't you just coming out with her? Why aren't you supporting her?
Yeah, but I think when you get a show like this, some of those things kind of just pop up in your head, and you know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't think the show was as bad as like people on the internet are constantly crying and bitching about. But it definitely wasn't the best SmackDown we've reviewed so far either. So.
Yeah.
So then we got Cody walking in the back. Damian Priest stops him, asks him what's up with it. So what's up with your boy Rock? He says, he said, man, I don't know, but you know what time of year it is. That was a jab. Damian tells Cody that last year they both walked out of Mania as champs. Sucks that they can't repeat it this year, and only one of them can. Damian tells Cody, he says, hey, old man enough, Scott Hall voice, to tell you that after I win the chamber, I'm taking you out. And then
he's like, I didn't like this. He said it like he had an option. Like, okay, well, Jey Uso already picked, bro. You don't get the option.
Right.
I didn't like how he said this. Like,
yeah, it was a weird wording.
It was like, I respect you enough to tell you that you're the only person I can challenge anyways, brother.
Right. Yeah, it was weird. Cody, Cody says good luck. He walks off. Strowman comes in. This was kind of amusing. Strowman says, hey, if it wasn't for Solo, next week's chamber match would be looking different. And Priest goes, hey, man, careful, he's starting to sound like Drew.
That was funny.
Which they both just laugh about. So then they talk about beating Solo and Jacob tonight. I thought this was weird too. Like Solo's like, I'm gonna go and talk to all of this to get me in the match instead of Tama, and then they just never talk about it again and just go on with the show like we assume that that's what happened.
Yep. At some point, we just got like a little.
I think it was this match where they talked about this match first, and then we got the banner later.
Yep.
So like they just start talking about wrestling Solo and Jacob, and it's like, oh, okay, so that officially changed.
I guess it's happening. Yeah.
Yep. And then Cortland's favorite part of SmackDown.
Yeah, just a little messier than normal. I feel like tonight.
It was.
And on to my favorite part of every Friday, we got Naomi and Bianca in their cheerleader outfits.
Hey. Well, let me make this clear. This is a Cortland thing. I love Bianca and Naomi. All right, this ain't a me thing. This is a him thing. So.
And I'll take that. So Byron Saxton is out back interviewing him. Byron says that the footage we all saw from the parking lot led everyone to believe Liv and Raquel are responsible for what happened to Jade Cargill. Naomi says that she doesn't believe it. She knows it. And then Saxton asks how ready they are for their tag team match for the titles on Monday. Bianca says they're so ready. They've been waiting for months for an update, and they're going to get their revenge so they can move on and focus on the chamber and everything. Who do you think comes out of that with the titles? Do you think they retain, or do you think these move on to Liv and Raquel?
No, I think it moves on to Liv and Raquel because I think, to some regard, the other two are going to move on to Jade somehow. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I just, man, if Bianca wins that chamber, I feel like I'm going to have a meltdown. Unless, I also, like, how do you weave? I mean, they do a good job of layering this, but, like, I feel like Bianca is turning heel, but if she's focusing on Rhea, but she's the one who attacked Jade, I don't know. I just feel like this gets murky.
I mean, here's the thing: if Bianca wins the chamber, it's gonna be her and Naomi who attack Jade, and they'll do like Bianca and Rhea, like Naomi and Jade, or something like that. I'll have a meltdown too, but not for the same reason. I'll have a meltdown because this is essentially Cena and Batista for the women's division. Two girls that came up at the same time, and you're going to give them like a 6-week like build up to like possibly the biggest women's match ever in WrestleMania. Like, don't do that. Don't screw that up.
Yeah.
So,
after that, we get a little Alexa Bliss package. I thought was pretty neat.
Everything Alexa does is amazing.
Yep. And then we get a shortened match. We actually get a no contest here as Bianca and Naomi are making their entrance. They're still under the black lights and everything. They're on the apron. Liv and Raquel attack them, beat them down. Liv hits the Oblivion, I believe, on Naomi. And they just walk out. It's just kind of ruled a no contest. And they kind of just like moved right through this.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously the segment that got cut because of The Rock.
Yeah. As soon as I watched this, I was like, The Rock cut this match.
Yeah. Before I even finished the show, I put in notes, I'm sure there's going to be outrage about this being the segment that got cut. But here's the thing. I like Liv. I like Liv a lot. I like Liv even more since her title win. But, like, for all the people that I haven't even been on Twitter all that much, but I just know. Between the nuts Liv fans and just the, like, WWE don't treat their women like human beings, which just isn't true. Like, I'm sure the outrage is just out of control. But, like, this is the segment I would have cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, where else do you cut? The truth segment? Maybe, but that's the most entertaining part of the damn show. So,
I mean, we're still facing each other on Monday.
Right.
And I think that's an important thing.
Exactly. So we get them back from commercial. All this is yelling at Liv and Raquel, telling them to get out of the building. Liv's just laughing at him like, yeah, okay, buddy. Chelsea Green and Piper come up. They try to replace Bianca and Naomi in the chamber. And all this is like, no, dude. They're in the chamber. Don't worry. Like, it wasn't that bad. And Chelsea's like, this is ridiculous. I'm Canadian. I'm a Canadian superstar. I'm your U.S. champion. I don't have a match. This is ridiculous. And all this pretty much says, you know what? You are going to have a match next week, but on Smackdown to defend your title. And it's going to be a good one. And just walks off. And Chelsea's like, wait, no? Like, can I get some more information? Like, what does that mean? So who do you think?
I thought she made a funny dig in here. Did you hear her say that she's the greatest Canadian export since maple syrup?
Yeah.
And I just think with all the tariff shit going on, I thought that was kind of a funny dig.
Yeah, it was good. Who do you think she's going to wrestle?
Oh God, who's from Toronto? Besides Trish. I don't know. I did not put a lot of thought into this, to be honest.
Peyton Royce?
Dude, I would lose it.
No, I doubt it's somebody from Toronto. It'll probably be like a triple threat against Meechin and B-Fab, or like...
Royce is from Down Under, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Sean Spears. That's Canadian.
I believe her husband. Yeah, Sean is from Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really think about that. That's a great question, though. I did make another note here, though.
What's up?
I feel like both GMs got made to look like dummies this week. I feel like Pierce looked like a total pushover during the Sammy thing. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Liv and Raquel just laughing in Aldis's face. Like, I feel like Aldis has done a really good job of looking pretty firm and in control of everything.
Yeah.
But I hated that they just laughed in his face and walked away.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised they did that with all this. I wasn't surprised about the Pierce thing because Pierce is just a fucking mess. But like, I guess, but I think that does also match Liv's character, where like, you know what I'm saying. So then we get the moment. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Rock comes out. He has some New Orleans stuff going on before his like main entrance. Big man comes walking out. First thing he does is announces that WrestleMania is in New Orleans again next year.
He got out again.
I said first thing he announced was WrestleMania is in New Orleans again.
Every time we go to say New Orleans, it's like he announces that WrestleMania is coming back to New Orleans. So this will be the third time.
Yeah.
Test.
Hopefully, we'll see. We get a holy shit chant from the fans because that's where they are. Even though our boy Ricky Starks already spoiled that. Did you see that? Yeah. In his interview with Bully, The Rock says he's there, not there just for that announcement. He needs to call out Cody Rhodes. Were you gonna say something?
Your mic again.
What the fuck?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Anyways, The Rock says he's there to call out Cody Rhodes also. So Cody comes out. And Rock says he called Cody out because Cody's a great champion. He told Cody he was a great champion like 12 times.
Yeah.
It talks about how they've become friends, how their moms have become friends. Shows a picture of their moms together. And Rock reminds Cody that he's a director of the board of TKO, and TKO owns WWE. Rock tells Cody that he has the most power, which was a weird... Like, I don't know. I think he was trying to say something else. Because he says, I have the most power. And I was like, wait, what? Most power in what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a weird little, like... I was like, okay.
Yeah, he made a point to say Ari Emanuel owns it, but Ari says Rock owns it, and Rock says the power.
That's right. Yeah. He tells Cody he wants to be a bit better and bigger champion. Tells Cody, he says, you're here. I am here. I want you to get here. And I was actually pretty intrigued in this whole thing because this was not where I thought this was going. So I'm
the whole time.
Right. Me too. He says. So Cody says that he's the champion of the fans, and The Rock says, tells Cody the difference in their followers, and he says he can make every dream of Cody, every dream of Brandy, every dream of their daughter all come true. All he needs is for Cody to be his champion. So I was like, oh, shit, this is okay. Rock tells the fans to shut it or smack the syphilis off their face. Rock was going classic Rock here.
It was weird. He kind of did what he did the last few times he's been out. He'll do some like super babyface stuff, but then he'll be like, I'm going to slap the slip.
Right.
What did he slap the syphilis on your face?
Yeah.
And then also, like, earlier when they were singing along, he was like, don't interrupt The Rock during sing-along. This is not sing-along time.
Yeah, this is The Rock sings, and you shut up and listen. Yeah.
Make up your mind, Rocky. Are you heel? Are you baby?
Right.
Yeah.
Rock says he wanted to face Roman last year. He said something else that USA, of course, bleeped out, so you missed a little bit of what he said there.
I caught it.
Oh, what did he say?
So he said that he was supposed to main event WrestleMania, but Cody said, fuck that shit.
Okay.
We're able to read his lips a little bit, but he's like, you walked in and you said, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Stop the shit out of The Rock and main evented it himself.
Yeah. And he said that's what makes Cody special and why The Rock wants him to be his champion. Rock says their dads were friends and they're friends now. Rock says he doesn't want Cody to answer tonight. He said, you answer at Chamber, I'll meet you there. Go home, talk to your wife, think about it. I'm going to go home, talk to my wife, think about it. Rock says one thing he wants more than anything else is that, and he points at it. I mean, frankly, he did point at the title.
A little bit again. Start that again.
I said The Rock says there's one thing he wants more than anything else, and frankly, he did point at the title.
Yep.
And Cody thinks he's talking about the championship, and said Rock says, "No, I want your soul," and calls him his brother. And then The Rock leaves. What? I was into it. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah,
but I was into it.
Do you think looking for like a corporate kind of champion? Are we getting like the Triple H Seth Rollins thing? Do you think, or where do you see this headed? Because that's kind of what I thought of. Is this like Triple H and his Seth?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go Cody accepts it, and this is like the start of Cody's heel turn, or Cody's going to deny him, and Rock's going to do everything he can to make Cody's life miserable without leading to a match. Because even in the press conference, Rock said that this is, no matter what happens, this isn't leading to a match. So,
right. So I think the best two scenarios are Cody accepts it and goes heel, and Cena was the chamber.
Yep.
Or Cody denies it, and if Cody does, who do you think should be the Rock's corporate guy?
Cena.
Cena is a bad guy?
I mean, they're not going to do it, but that would be...
Hollywood guys? I think it would be cool, but all I can think about is all the merch, and I don't know if you can have Cena turn. I mean, I think it would be crazy.
Or they'd push him more because he'd be the corporate champion. He'd be Rock's champion, you know? They could play it off like Cena's still the biggest babyface in the company, even though he's Rock's quote-unquote champion. But besides that, I don't know. It's not going to be Punk. So Drew?
Punk? I was thinking Drew.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, man, he gave him that sword once upon a time, right?
That is true.
They reached him.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
Yeah, that could be it for sure. I don't know where it's going, but I was into it. I had no idea that's where we were going to get to by the end, and I was like, holy shit, let's do it. So after that, we got DIY versus Pretty Deadly. DIY comes out, tries to have a moment of silence for Pretty Deadly.
Yep.
I love Ciampa and Gargano so much. They're so good. Pretty Deadly obviously interrupts it. Match wasn't that long. I think this probably got cut. Some time got cut from this too. Because I feel like they didn't even wrestle all that long before Street Profits come out, jump both teams.
I got a ton again.
Fucking shit. Go ahead. You finish this.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that a little bit of time got cut from this. I didn't have a ton of notes, but I did enjoy that Kit Wilson did the little Kyle O'Reilly tangled up in the ropes and then leap out. He hit that clothesline.
Yeah.
And then the Street Profits interfered. They attacked Pretty Deadly, and then the Motor City Machine Guns hit the scene. But the Street Profits look strong. They took everybody out. I cannot wait for the Street Profits to win the gold, man.
Yeah.
That is what I want.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. Probably at Mania. It should be at Mania. And, they look great coming out of this. They both look just mean and pissed off. Jacked. Yep. Yeah, we got two quick recaps. Recap of Cena putting himself in chamber. Recap of Sammy and KO. Then we get the video of KO in Sammy's house, which he put on Twitter earlier that day, which was...
Cut out again.
We get the video of Kevin Owens in Sammy's house, which he put out earlier in the day, which was pretty good. And
that was such a good reveal. He just turns the camera.
Yeah, it was good. And then we get the main event: Damian Priest and Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. It was a pretty good match. I mean, Jacob's probably the best wrestler in the match, so.
I think the most interesting thing didn't happen in the match, though. Did you notice when they came to the ring?
Yep.
So we were talking about this earlier. We mentioned this during the Jimmy segment. So Solo starts cutting the promo to the ring, and Jacob just talks right over him, and you just see that side eye from Solo. Mm-hmm. And you just see it all marinating. Damn, does he look so much like his brothers. That side eye reminded me so much of Jimmy.
Yep.
And it reminded me of all this stuff with Roman. And man, this is gonna boil.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
And, yeah. I didn't have a ton of notes. I kind of have them all towards the end.
Yeah.
But man, Jacob flying into that timekeeper area. This guy is just like so out of control, man. He just like flies around.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get that super kick. Priest did his best to fight off Jacob and Solo here at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Fatu goes for the super kick. Priest gets out of the way, and he super kicks Solo.
Yep.
Priest tosses Fatu out of the ring. He hits his big clothesline spot, and then Strowman gets back up. He gets the train rolling, when he runs around the ring.
Yeah.
This kind of become a weekly spot. He blasts Tamatanga and Fatu onto the announce table.
Yep.
And that leaves just Priest and Solo, and Priest takes Solo south of heaven.
Yeah, yeah, and that finishes the match, ends the show. Yeah, except the show was, let's be real, show wasn't its best show. It wasn't as bad as people are going to make it seem on the internet, because everybody makes things seem 1,000 times worse than it was.
I would agree.
But
they can't all be one once. Sometimes a single or double is fine.
Yeah.
I think they've set a high bar for themselves, if anything,
Right. Yeah.
Every once in a while, you have a non-spectacular show, but there were some fun parts, and sometimes you got to lay groundwork. I think this was a lay the groundwork show.
Yeah.
Because we're setting up to that dissension of Solo and Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we get the Rock and Cody, which is going to be the biggest part of this show.
Right.
And then we got a little bit of levity with Truth, and they furthered the Tiffany and Charlotte storyline. Basically, I think we're going to get Charlotte standing over Tiffany a lot.
Yep.
I think that's, the groundwork they're laying there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the Rock and Cody was obviously the most notable. The truth part was probably the most entertaining. Overall, it wasn't the best show, but it's all right. It happens. There were some things to criticize. The sloppiness in some of the matches, especially that Tiffany and Candice match. The put together kind of nature, but I don't really think that's on Triple H when The Rock kind of comes in and goes, all right, I'm taking this much time. What are you really supposed to do when he's your boss, So
you can't do anything.
Exactly. So overall, it was an okay show. Wasn't its best. Wasn't the worst I've seen. Some notable moments, but yeah, man. So that's it for SmackDown this week. It was an average show at best. And you guys will see us tomorrow. We might put it out tomorrow. If not, we'll put it out Monday. We're going to do WrestleMania prediction show. We're going to predict our WrestleMania cards. We'll see how close we get to the reality. We'll see by the time WrestleMania comes around, which cards we like better. Probably mine, because I am great at this.
Yeah, you usually whip my ass at this.
And yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll see you guys either tomorrow or Monday.
All right, man.
All right, brothers. Peace.
Yeah.